Hello and welcome back to our F1 Manager McLaren series as we are fully into this second season, approaching round 3 as we'll be heading into Australia in this one. We'll be doing prep for the race weekend and getting into some practice and qualifying before the end of this stream. As I say, it's been a good start to 2024. Lando back-to-back podiums in 3rd place. Hasn't quite got the pace to challenge the Red Bull, so Perez and Verstappen leading the way at the moment. But we are best of the rest with Lando, certainly in those first 2 races. And more of a benefit is in Jeddah, we didn't bring any upgrades. So we still kept that 3rd place without upgrades. And hopefully we will have some upgrades as we go into Australia today. And also Oscar Piastri been a good start to 2024. No points last year for him, but already back-to-back points in the first 2 races of this season. And as you can see, we've made a solid start in the Constructors. Red Bull, as I say, has got the pace on the rest of the grid at the moment, but we are firmly in 2nd place with 47 points. Aston Martin, and then Ferrari, and then Alpine, and the real surprise is Mercedes is really lacking in this 2024 season. Only 2 points from the opening 2 races. And Drivers' Championship, Lando, as I say, 2 back-to-back podiums in 3rd place. Sergio Perez won the first race, Max Verstappen winning the second, but also getting a fastest lap in there as well. So Max is leading the Drivers' Championship by a point over Sergio. Then we've got Norris, Stroll, Charles Leclerc, and then Oscar Piastri with solid 17 points out of 2 races as well. As we say, the 2 Mercedes, just a point each so far out those 2 first races. As I say, in this stream, we'll be hopefully getting some design work done before this Australian Grand Prix, which is in 11 days' time. So if you're jumping in, please do as always, show some love, like the video, and if you're not already, subscribe or follow the channel. But let's crack in to this one. So let's just go through the news items. So we've got some side pods manufactured. I think they were just spares, but we'll have a look in a moment. And we've got a failed car part, a rear wing. So let's have a look at that in a moment. So they were side pods, weren't they, that were just manufactured. So yeah, we've already got those installed on both cars. So that was just a spare. We need to manufacture a new rear wing, which will be in 3 days' time. Let's just have a look. Have we got any design work? We have. That's going to be done in 1 day on that rear wing. So we may as well not manufacture the current rear wing because we're going to have a new one done very soon. So I think we can just forward on till we get that design done. There we go, we've got that new rear wing. So 3 of those would be 9 days. Still got 10 for the Australian Grand Prix. So I think we'll go for 4 just to get a couple of spares in there. Opened up spare design slot. We just did see what we can do here. So rear wing went on design 3. Side pods, we need some more side pods really. Let's design them. We'll go for 1.2 CFD hours and 14 wind tunnel hours. What do we want to focus on really here? Don't want to lose too much of the cornering. We can bring this lifespan right down, which helps our engine cooling straight away. Going to lose a bit on the high speed, but we are going to gain some engine cooling there, which we do need to improve. So we're going to go with that. And we've got multiple. We might as well go for quite a quick design on that one. Go 17 days rushed with that one. What else have we got finishing? We will have an underfloor designed in 10 days, so that may come before the Australian Grand Prix. So we could do a couple of emergencies if we want to. That's just a rear wing design complete as we know. What's the car analysis saying at the moment? So we've dropped down in low speed, but that's without the new rear wing on. So let's see what happens when we get this new rear wing on the car. So we've got front wing and underfloor in low stock as well. Yeah, Yeah, we have only got 2. Underfloor 2 as well it is. Are we manufacturing anything? Suspension. No, we've got that new underfloor coming. And we have got a new front wing coming. I think we'll risk it. We can always go back. We've got a lot of designs of the first front wing, so we can always go back on the front wing if we need to. But we're good as is. Got the spare suspension manufactured. Just waiting for that underfloor, aren't we? Did we... must have had that rear wing. Yeah, we have. Got the new rear wing now that we can put on the car, so we can install that on both cars. So we're down to 3rd on low speed now, so there's definitely some development work going on with the other cars before the Australian Grand Prix. But brake cooling we have improved slightly. We need to improve that engine cooling, which we have got with one of the design works coming on. Might be worth, just for the fun of it, doing emergency on the underfloor if it is done. Which is... it costs us quite a bit. Let's go for it. Let's do it. Why not? Let's install that on both cars as well. Showing that we've gone backwards after putting that on, so... interesting. But we'll see where the rest of the cars are once we get into this. Let us replace that design work with another. So I think we have got chassis underway, rear wings are on version 3. Probably need to get some suspension underway as well. Lifespan we can bring right down again. It was low speed, we're now dropped a little bit, haven't we? So I think let's just focus on that. One engineer and we'll go normal for that one. Brilliant. So we've got 4 projects. Really going to be that next race, isn't it? Because we're going to have 3 different designs done. Whether we want to go emergency on them, that's a different story. But are we back to back after Australia or is it 2 weeks? Looks like 2 weeks. Hold on, we've got 24th of March. 3 weeks, isn't it? 4 weeks. 1, 2. Yeah, there's a big gap, isn't there? Yeah, there's nearly 4 weeks. So yeah, we're going to see a big difference in the car between this race and the next one in Baku, because all 3 of these will be designed and we'll probably manufacture all 3 of those by the time we get to Baku, so that will be interesting. Right, let's go to performance targets then. I think we can change this to 2 drivers into Q2. And a qualifying position. Let's go 2 at least 10th. I think we can do better than that, but let's be a bit cautious. Finishing position, I'm not going to go for the fastest lap. Finish position streak, let's go for at least 8th. 2 drivers for... let's actually go 2 races because we'll know where we are after Baku. We might be able to improve on that. So that is the performance target set in. That's the design work done. And we're ready to jump into this Australian Grand Prix weekend and begin practice. let's see how we go then. So, yeah, a bit disappointing there. I thought we were going to make some inroads on some other teams, but looks like we might have dropped back a bit. But I think it's because our design work is probably going to be more aggressive after this race, where the other team seem to have got a few more upgrades in for this one.
It's wonderful to be back down under.
Let's set these up then. We've got a dry practice. Just pump them up to 18 laps. And let's get the setups in, and let's jump in to practice 1. Let's send Oscar out first. There we go, shortly followed by Lando Norris. As always, chasing down some 100% setup satisfactions here.
Radio check.
Land clear.
So radio check. Yeah, all good.
Radio's loud and clear.
As you see, we have Bono in the team for this year, for 2024, as Lando's race engineer. Let's forward this on. As always, we're looking here. Oh, there we go. Lando's already locked up. Oh, he's ran wide.
Right then, we can take a look now. Now the focus is on Lando Norris here. And that's... oh no, that's not quite what they would have...
Not ideal, but that's not too bad. Nothing too serious there. But yeah, as always, we're looking at this here, 0 out of 5. We're looking to build that out to 5 out of 5, which gives us full feedback from the driver, and then we can work on the car, depending on what that feedback is. And if we can nail it early on, that's what we're always looking to achieve, because it makes the weekend a lot easier if we can do that. But let's see what we can do, as Danny Rick is now running wide as well.
Oh, and they need to be watching those track limits.
Not ideal for Danny Rick.
Not a sign of things to come.
And his home Grand Prix here at Down Under. So hopefully get the first piece of feedback from the drivers shortly, and then the first full piece of feedback, and then we'll bring them in and have a look at the cars. So 4 out of 5 for both of them now.
Give us a balance check when you can. Balance check.
Satisfaction's good for Lando.
Yeah, I'm happy. Okay, copy.
This is a good start. Let's have a look where we're at. So it's bad on the straight, so we just want to adjust that rear wing. Let's go for something like that. I think it's going to need a bit more work than that. Let's see whether that will get us closer to a better setup. As Oscar should have full feedback shortly.
Oscar, is the car all okay?
His setup is bad, so it's not worked out as well on Oscar's side of the garage. Yeah, very bad all round here, so got a lot of work to do with Oscar. Right, let's just go for something like that, just to get him underway again. If I can get Lando back out. Carlos Sainz has now had a moment going wide, sorry. Right up the gearbox of Mercedes and losing it out wide.
They'll find themselves at a disadvantage.
Here we go then, same again. Let's just build this feedback up. Hopefully get them closer to that 100% setup satisfaction. You're jumping in and you watched the race this weekend in Spain. What did you think? How did your driver do? What do you think of Austria this weekend? Who's coming out on top? Nice to see that the field's a little bit more bunched up at least. Max still eking out those wins, but it's a little bit harder work for him now, which is nice to see. Like we might have quite an exciting season for the rest of the year and perhaps next year as well. Danny Rick runs wide again. I think it's the same turn, isn't it?
Now
No,
let's take a
a
look
little bit earlier for Danny Rick. This is the turn that Lando went wide on.
Why?
So 3 out of 5 feedback for both drivers now. Lando now 4 out of 5, so we'll get the second piece of feedback from him very shortly. There we go.
If you can give us a balance check.
Setup's great, so we're certainly improving things. Let's see where we're at now with Lando then. We're optimal on the straights, optimal on oversteer, 91%, so we're very close indeed. Probably mainly going to be this tyre camber, and it's what way we go with it. Let's try something like that with Lando.
Any feedback?
Setup's still bad for Oscar, so we have got work to do here for Oscar. Right. Is good. See what we can do here. Let's go for something like that for Oscar. So we're not having the greatest of first practice sessions on Oscar's side of the garage, but it is much better on Lando's side. As we'll get them out here for the last 10 minutes of the session, but we won't get the full set of feedback until we get to practice 2 now. But yeah, as I say, it's getting a lot more interesting, isn't it? With in real life, with yeah, Max having a few challenges now, certainly by Lando and Mercedes have found a bit of pace. Ferrari dropped off in the last couple of races, but I think they'll still have some tracks that suit them. So yeah, hopefully as this season goes on, we could have a battle between 3-4 teams, which is going to be very nice indeed. I've no idea how Perez has secured that 2-year contract with Red Bull, though. He's just yeah, nowhere near on the pace at the moment.
That's the checkered flag, Oscar.
There we go. That is the first practice session complete. Let's move hastily in to the second practice session. We'll just bump these up a little bit. Not that we need to really, because we're going to finish that set of feedback very quickly indeed.
Sessions should be starting now.
There we go. Same again. So yeah, I really yeah, I don't know how Perez secured that contract with Red Bull, but very interesting indeed. He's just, yeah, he just looks to be so much off the pace, not only of Max, but the rest of the teams around him, in terms of he's not challenging really the Mercs, Ferraris, and the McLarens.
I think it's okay.
Right.
Okay, copy.
Setup has changed to good for Oscar. Go back and have a look at that. Right, so we've got a little bit of work to do here. Front wing is miles off at the moment. Can't get the tyre camber there. That could be... that could be pretty close, to be fair.
Let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, happy.
Okay, copy.
Let's call Lando in as well. I'm a lot more confident with Oscar now, going on that next run. Where are we at with Lando now? Right, so we went that way. I think that needs to go out there though. Right, I think the traction is still out though, isn't it? Here we go. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Hopefully we're a lot closer with both of them now. I think this might be enough to get them both well into the 90% range. Let's wait and see. Because we do have a missing driver on this save, which is running 19th. That's actually Mick Schumacher. For some reason the game is glitched and he's not putting his name, but he is now in the Alfa Romeo team, or the Sauber team, with Bottas 2024. So showing us blank on here, but that is in actual fact Mick Schumacher. Back on the grid. The grid actually for us in 2024 is the same as it was in 2023, apart from Logan Sargent is now off the grid. Mick Schumacher is on the grid, so that's the only different driver. There has been a few changes, as in Mick Schumacher, as I say, coming into that Kick Sauber team. Guan Yu Zhou is now in the RB team with Danny Rick, and Sonoda's come out of that RB team and he's replaced Logan Sargent in the Williams. Apart from that, not too many moves at all for this year. Alright, setup satisfaction is now great for Oscar. Not quite optimal with him. Let's see where we've got now with this. Too far away now, so it's only good on the traction, so we need to go there with traction. And we need to do something like that.
Have a balance check when you can.
So Lando is optimal. We'll just keep him. We'll see what it is, and then we'll. 100%. Perfect for Lando. So how much tyre life has he got in there? He's got quite enough in there. And probably just send Lando out for the rest of this session. And Oscar, I don't think we'll get the full lot of feedback for Oscar. But Lando's nailed it. He's at 100% setup satisfaction. 2/3 into practice 2, so we've got a good chance of getting him to 100% on his track acclimatization. Whether he'll get 100% on his car parts knowledge, I don't know. We've got a couple of new parts on the car, so they're currently at 82%. But Lando will be able to run that full session in practice 3, so it does give him a good chance of getting that perfect 100% on everything, so we'll wait and see. Oscar's got 2 out of 5 feedback, so if we can get at least 4 out of 5, that would be very handy. Let's see, we really need to get this 3rd out of 5 piece of feedback here by about 7 minutes, I'd say. Needing it now, not quite. There it is. So we should, I think, just about get that 4th bit of feedback before the end of this session. Be very handy indeed. Shame we can't get the full set of feedback before we go into practice 3, but we'll get it very quickly in that 3rd and final practice session.
Just let us know what you think about these tyres.
Going away slowly.
Copy that.
Oscar, how's the tyre doing now? Still stable?
Struggling with front.
So, that is the end of the second practice session. So Lando is set up well indeed. But we've already nailed this, 100% set of satisfaction. So 100% has already been achieved. We'll just be focused on the track acclimatization with him now, and hopefully he'll build that car parts knowledge up naturally with that as well. Oscar, we don't quite know where he is, but we're a bit more confident that he's going to be closer to, certainly in the 90% range. So let's just run as we can, really, with Lando. Doesn't really matter with Oscar. He will be coming in very shortly. Let's get Oscar out straight away. And Lando.
Okay, Oscar, so the track will go green now.
Here we go then. Final practice session. And Oscar is optimal as well. So we'll just call him in because it is early, just to see if we do need to make any minor adjustments. And we do not, because he is at 100% as well. So we have nailed it for Oscar as well. So we can sit back and relax in this final practice session. 100% setups have been achieved. Just hopefully getting 100% now on this track acclimatization. And we'll see where the car parts end up as well. That should help them now that they're going to run this full session. Can we get up to a perfect 100% on everything? I think the only thing that might let us down is that car parts knowledge, but we'll see. They are at 86% now, so... to say this is, yeah, we can relax a bit for this next 40 minutes of this session. But if you're jumping in the stream, let me know if you're watching the Austrian Grand Prix this weekend. Who's going to be on pole this weekend? What's your podium going to be as well? So we're creeping up that track acclimatization, certainly with Lando. He's now at 71%. My predictions for Austria, I feel it's going to be close again between Lando and Max. I think it's a track that they both go well at. They've both got good cars underneath them at the minute as well, so... yeah, I think it might be between those two again. Still hoping for an Oscar pole or a race win, but not quite had the pace of Lando the last few races, so we'll see. And the Ferraris and Mercedes, a bit of a mixed bag. You're not quite sure what you're going to get with them from track to track, although Mercedes do seem to be getting a little bit more consistency, and whilst they've got some consistency, Ferrari seem to have fell away. Charles with a pole. Wouldn't surprise me. Ferrari can get it right in Austria. And Charles is super quick over one lap. He might be the best driver on the grid actually over one lap. If you put him in equal machinery, I think it'd be very close. I think it might be Charles out on top as pure one lap pace. So we nearly got to 100% now with Lando on track acclimatization. As I say, I don't think we're quite going to get the car parts knowledge up, unfortunately, but that's at no fault of the drivers, really. It just takes a little bit more time. There we go, Lando is there, 100% on track acclimatization. He's now coming to the end of his stint. Who do I think is replacing Ocon? I don't know. Everything at the moment really stems on Sainz, doesn't it? I heard that Alpine are now aggressively going after Sainz as well. Obviously, Williams are in the hunt for Sainz. So yeah, I think Sainz is just probably looking around, isn't he? And trying to probably mostly look at those 2026 plans. So I always thought I'd see Sainz end up at... Audi, or what will be Audi in 26, but there was rumours that they've sort of pulled out, but I'm not sure. It's a tricky one. As I say, a lot of it stems on where Carlos is going to go, I think. It wouldn't surprise me to see him end up at Alpine. Well, there we go. We have finished this final practice session. And a pretty good result, I must say. So 100% we did achieve on-track acclimatization for both drivers. Got the car parts up to 93% in the end. And we've nailed the setup satisfaction to 100%. So it's not perfect, but we have set the drivers up pretty damn well at 98% each for their driver preparation coming in to qualifying in Australia. And there we go, just confirmation then that both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have a 98% driver preparation as we will start Q1 Down Under.
Hello and welcome to the...
So let's jump into this quali session and see where we'll end up here. What we'll do is we'll send them out straight away to get a banker in. Let's send them out. We'll just speed through this first run. So just get a banker lap in. We can just compare. So Oscar did a 26.2 in the first sector. Lando 26.1, so a 10th up for Lando. 18.8 in the second sector for Oscar. Matched by Lando. So Lando's about a 10th up. As Oscar's now about to come across the line. And he does a 1:17.3.
Remember the
and
delta
Norris does a
needs to be
1:17.3 as
negative at the end
well,
of
so
the
it's a 100th in
You
it.
keep your pace up on the in-lap.
Pretty well matched there in that first run.
Stay on the delta.
As I say, that's just us getting a banker lap in, but we will see what the rest of the grid does. And yeah, we may not need to run again. We'll get some fresh softs ready. But we may not need to run again. Very close up the front here though, but we have been in competition really with these Aston Martins and Ferraris and Alpines early on in this season. What a great lap from Verstappen there. I'm not going to run him again. I think we're going to be pretty safe. Ricciardo's had a lockup.
Here we are then at the 11th corner.
Danny Rick here at his home Grand Prix.
Struggling with the car, but that's just the risk you take.
And if that was a flying lap or a hot lap, that is ruined that for him. Good evening, Dino. Yes, how are you doing on this hot Tuesday? Hope you're well. Danny Rick is still currently in. Not going to run. So we are safely through because we've got at least 5 drivers who've hit the checkered flag behind us. So Q1 was nice and easy there. But this is, well, Perez has set a good time, so I can only think Verstappen has didn't get a good lap in there. Mick Schumacher, as we say, is blanked for some reason on a game, but I don't expect him to go any quicker. But it looks like he isn't going to qualify last at least. And he's pitting anyway, so that is the end of Q1. Good to hear, Dino. Yes, I am very well, thank you. Aston Martin looking quick. Yeah, the Aston Martins have been quick at the moment in this 2024 season. Red Bull have certainly got the out-and-out pace, Raphael, but for the second quickest car across the first 2 races, it's probably been between, I would say us, but more so Lando in the McLaren and the 2 Aston Martins. So I'd probably say, pace-wise, without taking Lando Norris outperforming a little bit, Aston Martin probably are the net second quickest car on the grid, and looks like this track might suit them. So, yeah, Mercedes are probably the 6th fastest car on the grid at the moment. And as I say, we've obviously not had a quick time there for Max, so it looks like Aston Martin and Red Bull might be quicker than us across this track. Then we've got McLaren, Ferrari, Alpines, although it's just one of them there, but the Alpines have had pace on Mercedes. But anyway, no real surprises there in that Q1 elimination zone. Both Hassans, both Alfa Romeos or Kick Saubers, and Pierre Gasly actually didn't get out, so that is a surprise. I can only think again he didn't set a good lap, same as Max, but actually costing Gasly as he's out in Q1, so very costly for Pierre. So that was a bit of a shock to see Gasly out in Q1. But let's jump in to Q2. Yeah, Mercedes do have a tendency, don't they, to drop off in this series. It's funny, isn't it? Because it's almost like it happens across most people's saves. So it's almost like the developers have... it's not even random. It's like the developers have made that happen. Because most saves, if not all the saves I've done on this has been the same. And everyone that feeds back does the same thing, that they drop off. So, yeah, it seems intentional from the developers. Right, let's jump into Q2 and we'll run this first stint. We'll do another banker lap, but this will be on some scrub softs this time. And we'll mix it up and send Lando out first. Then Oscar. Let's just see what they set, and we will run again this session because we want to get some fresh softs on. So Oscar goes quicker than Norris this time round, so...
Go for it.
The boy from down under is enjoying his home race here, certainly, because he was only 100th off Lando in that first qualifying session, and he's 400s, nearly 500s up in this second session. One scrub set there, of course, so we'll see what happens once we get them out on a fresh set of rubber. And Max has put on a good time there. Perez with a big lock-up. That's going to ruin his first run.
Now here we are at the final corner.
That was on the final corner. Oh, that's a big lock-up from Sergio. Right, let's get some fresh softs, fresh rubber on for both of these. Yeah, Verstappen definitely saying a much better lap this time. Perez did finish a lap, but obviously that was ruined. Right, let's just monitor this traffic here. Let's get them both out and underway. Here we go then. Let's jump on board, shall we, with Oscar?
Good to go.
In his home race. Perez bottling, yeah. Perez the bottle job, in real life and in the game. As I say, I have no idea how he secured that 2-year contract with Red Bull, but something we don't know behind closed doors. Of course, we do know he brings a lot of marketing and money to the team. That's the only thing I can think of, because performance-wise, he is lacking for that team. But here we go. Flying runs really on, well, is a flying run on our first fresh set of softs. And we are going green with Oscar in that first sector. 26 flat. What does Lando do? Same. He's about 100 up, nearly 200s up. But it's very close between these two here, and that's what we're liking very much. Compared to last year. So second sector, 18.8. Oh, and Lando's not gone quicker. 19.6. He's had traffic, I would assume, in there somewhere. He must have had some traffic there. There is a car just behind, so yeah, Lando's had some traffic. He might be at risk. As Oscar's going to come across the line, should be safely through to Q3. And we go second quicker, sorry. What will Lando do? Will he improve, or is that sector going to cost him? Doesn't improve. 1, 2, 3. It's Zhou or Perez. But Zhou, really. Doesn't matter if we get bumped down to 10th. Zhou is on an in-lap, so Lando will survive by the looks of it. Is Perez going to survive? Pretty sure he'll get a lap in here, although it looks like he might add some traffic unless they're on a hot lap as well. And Perez does make it through to the top 10.
That's P10.
Bumps Lando down to the bubble,
we are safe.
but he's safely
awesome
through.
Job, mate.
And Bono is very happy with that. Merchandise and sponsorship doesn't upset the apple cart. Yeah, exactly, Dino. I think I said it before. The only thing is, I think the last few years for Red Bull it's worked, where you've got Perez not challenging Max, but doing enough to pick up the constructors. But if this carries on how we're seeing the teams this year and the competition across this year and next year, Red Bull aren't going to be able to win that constructors. Max might still be able to win the Drivers' Championship, no doubt, but winning the Constructors, that's going to be difficult. I think even for this year for Red Bull. I thought a few races ago where we saw sort of Miami and then Monaco and these sorts of tracks, I thought, well, it's probably maybe just a blip for Red Bull. Been a few races now, and especially getting to Spain, Barcelona, which is, you know, a lot of tracks that the teams, although they don't do the pre-season testing now, they base the car around that track due to the different formalities of that track. So you were kind of waiting for it to go back to the normal, where Red Bull then started to dominate again. But it hasn't happened. Even the races Max has won, he's had to actually fight for them. So, yeah, whether Red Bull are going to bring some designs and eke out that gap again, I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully what we're seeing now is going to be the rest of the season. Ferrari, Mercedes getting a bit closer. And as I say, 4 teams challenging for wins across the rest of this season and 2025 would be lovely. But if that continues for Red Bull, at the minute, Perez doesn't look like he's got the speed. Obviously, we know he's not got the speed to challenge Max, but he doesn't look like he's got the speed to challenge either McLaren's, Mercedes or Ferrari. So where will that leave him? Finishing 8th to 10th most races. So if Max is winning, the other teams are, you know, in total going to pick up more points. So, yeah. It looks odd, or maybe they should have just delayed that for till the end of the season, but they said they were in no rush. I thought that's what they were going to do, at least sort of, you know, normally you see this sort of summer, post-summer. I know the Lewis and Carlos and all that situation has kicked it off a bit earlier, but yeah, I'm surprised they made it so soon. Unless, of course, they know that Max has decided to leave the team at some point and he's already informed them and they want to keep someone experienced in the team. That could well be the case, we don't know. The only place we can see Max going is Mercedes. I can't quite see it, but stranger things have happened. Esque Lewis Hamilton arriving in a red Ferrari next year. Here we go. Let's get back into this. We'll go on another scrub set in Q3. And Norris in a bit of trouble. Yes, Norris was on a bit of trouble there, Raphael. Just surviving. Right, let's send both of these out then. Scrub set. Get these bankers in. I think it is as it were in that Q1. No, Carlos Sainz didn't improve. Yeah, I didn't notice that actually, Raphael. I didn't even go through the Q2 eliminations there.
I could recharge on and box this lap.
Copy.
Currently P2.
So who did we lose there? We've got the 2 Red Bulls. We've got the 2 Mercedes. We lost Sainz.
Yeah, confirm.
Got the 2 Astons, 2 McLaren. So yeah, the main one we lost there was Sainz, wasn't it? Oscar Pole. God, we love it. We would love it. He seems to be able to beat Lando on these scrub set, although Lando, well, he did beat him on the fresh set, but Lando was held up. Let's see what we're going to do in this. This is going to be quite interesting, his final run. Let's just catch up with the chat here. The idea was definitely laugh. Yeah, exactly, Dino. If someone would have said to you at this, well, I mean, what would the odds been if you put on the beginning of the season that Lewis Hamilton would move to Ferrari and Max Verstappen to Mercedes? Either one of those, you'd laugh. The Ferrari one has obviously happened with Hamilton. And, yeah, Max, you thought there's no way he'd ever leave Red Bull, but as the weeks and months go on and the turmoil at Red Bull, definitely think it can happen. And definitely as Red Bull are now not starting to struggle, but they're losing that advantage. 2026 is around the corner, so I don't think anyone would be shocked if it happened. Right, let's get these out. We got them out a bit close there. That is a boo-boo. Hopefully they eke some space out between them. If not, we've messed up a little bit there. You'd want a little bit more of a gap than that. Getting too involved in the chat. We took the eye off the ball there, sending them both out very quickly. But here we go. At least Lando is going to give Oscar a toe here. Let's see what we can do then. Final run in qualifying in Q3. Where are we going to end up here? Max looks nailed on for pole at the moment. He's got 3 tenths to Alonso. Lando 26 flat, Oscar 26 flat, 26.3, so it's 500ths in that first sector. Very closely matched again. Oscar will be getting a nice toe here on these straights. 18.7, so he does in fact go purple, Oscar. That toe is working very well. Inadvertently, we might be giving Oscar a brilliant chance here of pole.
We have a checkered flag now.
So it's 18.7, so it's about a tenth quicker. Still going to be quite close here, I think, between us. Here we go then. Lando Norris going to be across the line, closely followed by Piastri, who's going to get another slipstream here. Lando third, Oscar second, and bumps Lando down to fourth. And just a tenth, or basically 2 tenths off Max Verstappen. But I think certainly Oscar was given a couple of attempts there by Lando. Lovely toe. I think the toe was probably more effective. I was going to send them out quite close together. Not that close, but maybe inadvertently, as I say, we maximised the toe there for Oscar. Lando, I don't think, was affected because he didn't have no traffic. So the only one I thought it might affect is Oscar, but it's worked out pretty well there. What are we saying here? Have we got their in-laps in-lap? Perez on a flyer. Only 8 for Perez. And that's pretty realistic, isn't it? Because that's about where you'd expect him to qualify at the moment. And Hamilton's had a good lap, unless George has had maybe a poor lap from George. Oscar Piastri on the front row. I think, that is, I definitely know in this series, that's the best qualifying for Oscar Piastri. I think before this was maybe 6th in the last race. And look at that, though. Max Verstappen is inevitable, isn't he? Are you buying the new F1 Manager? Yes, I am indeed. It's not too long away now, is it? I think it's about 4 weeks till release. So, yes, I will be getting that, and we'll start a new series as soon as that one comes out. What about you, Rafa? Are you getting the new one? So, as we say, Max Verstappen, yet again, inevitable. He is on pole, and that Red Bull does look to have a lot of pace. Certainly in the hands of Max. Perez has been matching him across the first 2 races, but not so much across this qualifying. He's down in 8th. Oscar Piastri benefiting from the toe, and he'll start on the front row in 2nd. Fernando Alonso in 3rd. Lando Norris in 4th. Charles Leclerc in 5th. Lewis Hamilton in 6th, which I think is Mercedes' best qualifying so far of the year. Lance Stroll 7th. As we've said, Perez is in 8th. Esteban Ocon 9th. And George Russell rounds up the top 10 in 10th. And where did Carlos Sainz finish when he got knocked down Q2? So he was 12th. So he splits the 2 Williams of Alex Albon on Yuki Tsunoda. So a lot of work for Carlos Sainz to do. I'm sure he can get back into the points. But we're set up very well, again, for big points. Oscar Piastri's best finish so far, 6th across the first 2 races of this season. So has he got a chance of a podium? And what can Lando do from 4th place? Right, let's just overwrite this. Let me just catch up on some of the chat there. Lando went off the racing line, so he might have lost some time. Yeah, sure, I brought all of them on this one as well. Yeah, good, Raphael. I think this one, as I say, this the new F1 Manager is certainly a better upgrade on 22 to 23. I don't think 23 really changed too much on the 22 version, but this one does look to introduce a lot more features. Obviously, we've got the obvious one, create the team, but a different dynamic system. Yeah, and visually it looks a lot better. So I think, as I say, there's a lot better changes coming into this one. So, and the price isn't as much, I believe. So hopefully it introduces a few more to the series or brings some more back, because I think it is a good game, but it just needs a bit more work to, you know, keep that audience engaged and reintroduce new fans to the series. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be a positive launch, but I am certainly getting it, and I'm very excited to get it and start a new series on that. But yeah, that's going to bring it to a close. So as I say, very successful qualifying session for us. We've got Oscar Piastri in 2nd, Lando Norris in 4th. We will continue this race weekend on Friday from 7:15 BST. But I am popping off now to probably watch some boring football played by England. So I'm off to watch that, and we will be back on Friday. Hopefully see you there, and hopefully we might be able to get our first double podium.